Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and today is the day John Harbaugh took a private plane to arrive at the New York Giants facility, and he is there right now interviewing to be the next head coach of the New York Football Giants. We have some major details on this subject to dive into, a lot to talk about. But this is why you subscribe to the channel. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're going to get you guys a video ASAP. Today, I'm not into the office until the afternoon because of the Knicks game, but still new. I got to get you guys a video because you've been showing so much love. Hit that sub button. And if you want John Harbaugh to be a New York Giant, hit that like button right freaking now. Let's start with this, how it originally was broken. Adam Schefter was the first one on the report saying essentially that John Harbaugh was going to be in the building today interviewing for the New York Giants job, as they have been full steam ahead to try to get him to accept the job. Quote, former Ravens head coach John Harbaugh is meeting with the New York Giants in what is his first in-person visit to another team's training facility, per Jordan Renan and Adam Schefter. But I got to give love to my guy, Ricky Scoops, the GOAT of all insiders in the National Football League. He was the first one on the story. I put out the bat signal last night on Twitter saying, Ricky, we got to hear something. And he delivered. He always does. That best damn dog. Says Harbaugh flew to New Jersey to meet with the Giants and are hoping to keep him in the building until they agree to terms. Giants are his first choice. Joe Shane's role remains unclear, but it's not a roadblock. There should be an official announcement today or tomorrow. There should be an official announcement today or tomorrow. We have been covering this story closer than anybody here on New York Giants YouTube, and it feels like we are finally going to arrive at the big red X on the map. Wow. I want to give a shout out to Doug Analytics on Twitter, Doug_Analytics. He's been on his flight tracker game, tweeting out 2 hours ago at 8:14 a.m. If I were on Steve Tisch's private jet, I'd be landing in BWI right now. Followed that up a couple of minutes later, about 45 minutes later. If I were on Steve Tisch's private jet, I'd be taking off from BWI right now. He then followed that up 37 minutes later. If I were on Steve Tisch's private jet, I'd be landing in Teterboro right now. 10-minute drive to the Giants facility. And then he added this. Want to hear something fun? Steve Tisch's private jet was only used for one candidate in each of the last two Giants hiring cycles. In 2020, it flew to get Joe Judge for the official announcement. In 2022, it flew Brian Dable home to Buffalo after his in-person interview and then flew him to New Jersey for the official announcement and the blue truck video. So the Giants are pulling out the private plane. They've done it 2 times before in recent memory, and it was for their next head coach. And now they have it in the air, on the ground for John Harbaugh, whatever you want to say. And I'll just say this. The Giants aren't getting a private jet from Mr. Steve Tisch just to have an interview with John Harbaugh. This is an offer. The New York Giants are going to offer John Harbaugh to be their next head coach today. And it sounds like they are willing to do whatever it takes for him to be the next head coach. Wow. Unreal. Ian O'Connor, John Harbaugh is expected to meet with the Giants at some point today in New Jersey, reporting by Dan Duggan and me. Barring last-minute schedule changes, big development. Obviously, my understanding is John Mara and Steve Tisch will be there. Dan Duggan says to the "don't let him leave the building" crowd. That's me. That's me. Do not let John Harbaugh leave the building without him putting pen to paper to be the next Giants head coach. Says the Giants have satisfied the Rooney rules, so they can make a hire at any point, including today, but can't predict what will happen. Harbaugh has been very deliberate with this process. Jordan Schultz, the Giants' pursuit of John Harbaugh has been aggressive. Phone calls, lunches, private planes, everything you could think of. Now he's officially in the building. And if the Giants and Harbaugh truly want each other, they could hire him today. Paul Schwartz says, however unlikely, there is a, quote, don't let him out of the building scenario for the Giants today with John Harbaugh. He is planning in-person interviews with the Falcons and Titans, but plans can change. Jordan Hahn says, not often coaches of this caliber are available. When Andy Reid was fired, the Chiefs came to talk with him in Philly. He then went to Kansas City, and they didn't let him out of the building. The Cardinals and Chargers never got their interviews. Reid just so happens to be John Harbaugh's mentor. A lot more to talk about. First, though, I got to give a huge shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. When you use that promo code CLNS and you play your first $5 lineup, they're going to get you $50 in lineups for free. In the new year, we got playoff football. We got basketball action every single night. The time to get hooked up with the #1 daily fantasy sports app is right now. Download the app. Use that promo code CLNS. Play your first $5 lineup and get $50 in lineups after you play. I've already got my divisional round lineup ready to go. I'm taking the more on Puka Nacua touchdowns, which is at 0.5, and I'm taking more than the 0.5 of rushing or receiving touchdowns for Josh Allen. I think he's going to run one in on Sunday. Roll with my picks or fade my picks. Just do it at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Ian Rappaport, through today, the Giants are the only team that can hire a coach. Today is their first interview, but there have been countless conversations between Harbaugh and Giants brass. There is a chance he does not leave the building. I repeat, Ian Rappaport saying there is a chance he does not leave the building. Get it done. John Mara, Steve Tisch, Chris Mara, Tim McDonald, Joe Shane, Gold Jacket, Blue Jacket. I do not give a shit. Whoever's got to get it done, get the job done. Grab his arm, make him grab a pen, and make him put pen to paper. I want to see something very similar to what we saw with Mark Cuban. And who was it? DeAndre Jordan when he wouldn't let him leave the building? Or was it Chris Paul and Blake Griffin? I don't remember how the story goes. But do not let John Harbaugh leave the building today. That is your next head coach. That is everything you hoped and wished you would find in a head coach. And there he is. Connor Hughes saying, who covers the Giants for SNY, I got a text from an NFL source, quote, the Giants can't let him leave. They're right. They can't. Or you may never have him in that building again wearing blue. According to Ian O'Connor, money won't be an issue for the Giants in regard to negotiating a contract with John Harbaugh. And it shouldn't. You just sold a tenth of your organization for $1 billion. Write the check. Let him write the check. Give him a blank check. No reason to ever be cheap when it comes to this. Wow. Wow. Jordan Schultz reporting, from what I know, Harbaugh has done extensive research on all teams, but has done the most on the New York Giants. Also says, coming out of the draft last year, Jaxson Dart had a big fan in John Harbaugh. The Giants' pursuit of John Harbaugh is focused on one big reason: stability. Paul Schwartz says, there's much to discuss. This will be the first in-person meeting. Harbaugh has done all the research, but it all has to sound and feel right for him. If it does, the Giants will press to make it happen today. Sounds like the other two teams still in the running are the Falcons and the Titans. Man. John Harbaugh's in the building. Get it done. Find a way to let it not linger. Get the job done. If you want John Harbaugh to be a New York Football Giant, hit that thumbs up icon right now. If we get any more news, if we get any more information, we're going to get you guys a video ASAP. And as soon as John Harbaugh puts his name to the dotted line, we'll be going live on this channel. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing. 100,000 subscribers. That's unreal. Y'all are the best. Let's go Big Blue. Bring me John Harbaugh.